stay in power. I mean, this is the whole
that's
thing
a
about Trump,
question.
because
That's a question, not an
comes
answer.
From outside.
No, I know, but I just want you to.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't have any facts because I didn't know anything about Joe Biden before I heard his name as the electorate.
But you're absolutely certain that he spent half a century lying.
If he's a politician, he's been in the job for that long, I don't see how he could have...
All right, this clip right here is one of those moments that perfectly explains the political chaos we've been watching unfold over the last several years. Because what you're about to see is a Donald Trump supporter walk into a conversation completely confident, completely convinced, and absolutely certain that he has the facts on his side, only for that entire argument to slowly fall apart the moment he's asked to actually explain it. And honestly, this is what makes clips like this so fascinating. It's not even just about politics anymore. It's about how people can become emotionally attached to a narrative without ever really stopping to question whether the evidence actually supports it. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now, full transparency here. This interview is actually a few years old, but even though it originally happened back in 2021, it still feels incredibly relevant today. In fact, watching it now in 2025 almost makes it even more interesting because the exact same arguments, the exact same talking points, and honestly, the exact same level of blind loyalty are still everywhere online. And that's why I wanted to revisit this clip with you guys. Because what starts off sounding like a normal political discussion quickly turns into something much bigger. You've got James O'Brien calmly asking very basic questions. And on the other side, you've got somebody making extremely confident claims with almost nothing concrete behind them. And the more the conversation goes on, the more uncomfortable it becomes. Because you can actually hear the moment where the logic starts collapsing in real time. This isn't just a debate, it's almost like watching somebody try to defend a belief system they've never fully examined for themselves. And trust me, once this conversation gets going, it only gets more unbelievable from there.
All right, this is the atmosphere that Donald Trump has come into. The average Americans don't vote because they're just disenchanted with the entire thing. They think they're all crooks. It doesn't matter. And for people to scoff and say, oh, well, there's no proof of that. Oh, it can't be true.
Yes.
I'm sorry, man. I just think that's a little bit naive. Yeah, I mean...
So you're talking about an environment of... Because Trump is the crook that they thought all politicians were, but he comes...
But the thing is he's an honest crook, mate. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not hiding it. You know, you say that, oh, Biden sounded like a statesman. Like, that's a good thing.
Yes.
It's not.
Right.
It's somebody who spent their life being a polished liar, taking corporate agenda and pushing it through.
Are you describing what
these are not good things.
Are you describing what you think now, or what you think they think?
This is what I believe, and this is what I've spoken to many of my friends back in America. We talk about these things, you know. And you've got the whole media juggernaut as well.
If I asked you to persuade me that Joe Biden was a polished liar, what would you do?
I just pointed his 50-year career.
Yeah, well, go on.
How else could he possibly stay in power? I mean, this is the whole
that's
thing
a question. That's a question, not an answer.
From outside.
No, I know, but I just want you to.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't have any facts because I didn't know anything about Joe Biden before I heard his name as the electorate.
But you're absolutely certain that he spent half a century lying.
If he's a politician, he's been in the job for that long, I don't see how he could avoid it.
But you just said you'd never heard of him before last year.
I don't need to hear.
He was vice president.
This is what I think of average American.
Shouting louder doesn't make any more sense because he was vice president for 8 years.
Right. Again, I'd never heard of him.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of him.
I mean, is it fair to suggest? Is it fair to suggest that you may not be the best qualified commentator on American politics?
I'm just trying to give you a look into.
And I am. You've given me a very interesting look, Jim.
I'm the average person as well.
You may be, but you've admitted you know absolutely nothing, but you're certain of your prejudices.
I'm certain that this is the way that it's going to be looked at by the people like Trump's followers.
No, that's why I said to you, are you telling me what you think, or are you telling me what you think they think?
I'm telling you what I think. I'm telling you
you think
what
that Joe Biden
between my friends that I've spoken to about the subject.
I understand that. I mean, I find it horrible what you're describing, but I don't think you're lying. I think you're being honest. So you can look at Donald Trump and see what you described as an honest crook, and there is all the evidence of his wrongdoing that goes back 50 years, and you know, we could make a list. We'd be here until Christmas.
Yep, the man's got immense character flaws.
Not character flaws. Criminality.
I do not think he's a good person.
But then you've got Joe Biden over there, and you've got no evidence whatsoever of his malfeasance or misbehaviour, but you're absolutely convinced he's a wrong 'un. So would you mind if I...
Again, I would refer back to the Panorama program that I saw, which appalled me.
Yes, but was he in it?
People, a news crew can go over, pretend to be a lobbyist.
But was Joe Biden in? Was Joe Biden in it?
No.
So
he was not in it.
I've got two questions. Do you recognise on any level how ridiculous you sound? And I say that affectionately.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I suppose so. So now.
And the second question is who did this to you? Where do you think this came from? Because you weren't born like this. At some point in the last 50 years, you've become a man who's absolutely convinced of things despite having no evidence for it whatsoever. How do you think that happened?
Because I have been pulled over, and I have had police in America rewrite the arrest report, and I have had basically lies told in court about me, and I have had trouble in America.
And that's how you know that Joe Biden is not to be trusted.
This is my personal experience with the establishment.
Oh, being pulled.
And honestly, this is exactly why conversations like this continue to go viral years later. Because what you just watched wasn't some carefully researched political argument completely falling apart under pressure. It was somebody repeating strong opinions with almost nothing factual behind them. And the moment James O'Brien started asking basic follow-up questions, the entire narrative collapsed. Think about what was actually said in that conversation for a second. The caller openly admitted that Donald Trump had serious flaws. He even acknowledged behavior that most people would consider deeply concerning. But somehow, despite all of that, he still described Trump as an honest crook. As if simply being loud about controversy suddenly makes it acceptable. Meanwhile, Joe Biden was being labeled corrupt with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. None. Not a single concrete example that could actually survive scrutiny. And that's the part that really stands out here. Because this wasn't about facts anymore. It was about emotion, frustration, distrust, and political identity completely overriding logic. The caller basically admitted he didn't know much about Biden politically, admitted he had no actual evidence, and still sounded completely convinced. That's what made the exchange so uncomfortable to listen to, because you could hear somebody defending a conclusion first and then desperately trying to find reasons afterward. And unfortunately, this mindset didn't disappear after 2021. If anything, social media has amplified it. We now live in an environment where people can hear a rumor online, watch a couple emotionally charged clips, and suddenly become absolutely certain about things they've never actually researched for themselves. That's why James O'Brien's questioning hit so hard here. He didn't need to yell. He didn't need to insult the caller. He simply kept asking for evidence, and the silence spoke louder than anything else. And look, political disagreements are normal. People are always going to support different candidates and different policies. But when politics turns into blind loyalty, where one politician is treated like a flawless hero, while every opponent is automatically evil regardless of evidence, that's when rational conversation completely breaks down. That's the bigger takeaway from this clip. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Do you think exchanges like this expose a bigger problem in political discourse today? Or do you think media interviews like this only deepen the divide even more? And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.